Hey, it's me. It's been a long time. We have a different video today. I just need to talk to you about some things. Some gameplay of CSO will be in the background of this video. I figured, why not? So we're gonna talk about Actual Guns 2 today. Speaking of Actual Guns 2, originally, both the remake and the movie was supposed to release on June the 1st. Most of you already knew about this anyway, since I couldn't shut up about it for months. I kinda had to though, I spent too much money on this. But as you can probably tell by now, June 1st is around the corner and the remake is just not ready yet. So I'll be delaying it until it's actually finished. No specific date right now, but ideally I want it to release on July 20th, so it lines up with the 7th anniversary of Actual Guns. That would actually be very nice. Now, the movie is a whole different problem. This thing has like 7 years of build-up behind it. It's centered around the add-on itself, and it involves a lot of old weapons, old maps, old environments, which some might permanently disappear from canon. I say might because I obviously don't want to spoil the movie. Which sucks, honestly. The story has way more depth than people expect from something that started as a gun add-on, for example. But realistically, the workload became quite impossible. For example, Dafa has been working with me basically every day for months straight, sometimes around 11 hours a day, and even then, we still couldn't realistically hit the original deadline. So, because of that, the movie got delayed to July 15th on April 29th. Now, is July 15th guaranteed? No. Can we still make it? Yes. There's other developers involved in this as well, but they need time for studying for their final exams, especially with summer coming up. Overall, we just need some downtime to really cook. Naturally, some of you probably wondering, what exactly are you even adding that's taking this long? And to that I say, good fucking question, nephew. I'm gonna answer it. There's a lot of shit we're adding. The movie side is easier to understand, sure, but what exactly are you changing in the remake and adding? This isn't just some graphical update or a small overhaul. This remake is one of a kind. There was nothing like it. This remake is essentially rebuilding years of systems that were slowly collapsing under their own weight. So before I explain some of the new stuff, I think it's important for me to explain why Actual Guns 2 even exists from the first place. And surprisingly, I'm actually glad people didn't assume it only exists because Counter-Strike 2 came out. You see, the idea for a sequel was already being planned back in 2021. Back then, it was originally called Actual Guns CSO 2 instead of Actual Guns 2. The original goal was pretty simple. Take every 2D weapon in the add-on, which was over 100 mind you, and remake all of them in 3D with animations. Sounds good, yeah? But there was just one teeny tiny fucking problem. How the hell do you even fit that into Minecraft without lagging the add-on to death? And secondly, I was 15 or 16 years old at the time. Where exactly can I get the fucking money so I can buy the models and the animations? Money doesn't grow on trees, you know. So can we be realistic here, please? That shit would have costed $8,000 to make at a minimum. I'm expecting nobody to fucking donate. And today in 2026, we only have 3 donators so far, which I am very thankful for. I'm still processing the idea that someone can look at my add-on and offer their money to make a weapon. But let's say models and animations are already done. Here's the thing, that still wouldn't solve the optimization problem. That's not gonna solve the lag problem. The work would have been basically gone to waste for no reason. But hold on, it's not all bad news. Because there was some hope around that time. And the reason is because Mojang introduced something called scripts. Now, to simplify it, scripts are basically a more advanced way to code add-ons. But scripts only worked with PC, meaning if you're on mobile or console, it won't even allow you to join the world sometimes. Barely half of the features even worked properly since it was in early stages. But even with all of that, I could already tell they had insane potential because scripts allow JavaScript to be used. Normally, you can't even do that. Instead of fully committing immediately, I decided to wait it out and let Mojang slowly improve scripts over time. Fun fact, while testing scripts back in 2021, I accidentally discovered something pretty important. Originally, I was just trying to make hit markers to be within the scripts, but then I noticed the hit markers were triggering more often than they should. It was just so consistent. Every shot was registering and hitting the player. That's not possible in vanilla Minecraft. So I was like, okay, oh shit, okay. So then I got the idea of replacing the hit marker logic with damage just to test something. And completely by accident, I ended up creating what people now know as the 10-tick immunity bypass. Which is funny because nowadays that mechanic exists in most gun add-ons now. For reference, this is what the code for the damage system was like back in 2021 when scripts were new. At the time, whatever 3D models I had available were labeled as HQ Edition. Some of you might remember. We ended up repeating almost the exact same steps years later when reintroducing 3D weapons again before Actual Guns 2 was released. Those models eventually got removed, then redesigned, then replaced, and then redesigned once again. The weapons from the first generation, aka the ones from 2021, still exist in Actual Guns 2 as a memory. If they ever looked odd to you, now you know why. Now, fast forward to mid 2025, Actual Guns CSO was reaching its limit. And I don't mean that creatively, I mean that technically. The add-on became so massive that basic systems started breaking. Rate of fire would become inconsistent, certain mechanics would just randomly fail, and the add-on became so unstable that we literally had to make a separate pack called Handler just so to keep the main add-on functioning properly. And to be fair, was it the biggest gun add-on? Yeah, easily. No question about it. But that's exactly why it was so unstable. No matter how good the code is, it will always have problems. You couldn't even play with 4 people online without lag that rivals 2B2T. Do you know how fucking crazy that is? The amount of weapons, grenades, and mechanics inside that thing was completely ridiculous. This is one of the files responsible for handling weapon systems. It's 9 megabytes. For comparison, some entire add-ons, that's the resource bag and the behavior bag combined, by the way, are smaller than this one file. And the reason it became this massive, it was because of a system called the Counter-Strike adjustment. Basically, your first shot would be accurate, but your follow-up shots would gain more recoil and spread. And by the way, that system had 4 versions before it even got good. Back in 2021, nobody was doing systems like that in Minecraft. So, naturally, because I hate myself apparently, I decided that it was a good idea to give that system to almost every fucking weapon. I wish I could go back in time and stop myself from doing it because imagine it this way. Every single recoil value, every single accuracy value, every single pattern had to be coded manually by hand for over 100 weapons. Look at this bullshit. And this is only for the AK-12, not the other weapons. Even 4 years later, in 2025, there were still unfinished weapons that never fully got the system because of how absurdly time-consuming it was. Don't get me wrong, the idea of the system is not inherently bad, but it simply shouldn't have existed this soon. A feature like this should only exist on systems that can handle it and make its addition much simpler. It's perfect for scripts because it can handle it so easily that you yourself can edit the values to whatever you like. The string that I'm showing you on screen is from the actual Guns 2 remake, which took care of this problem plus many others. I'll admit the idea was ahead of its time, but I'm really glad that I don't have to deal with it anymore. I'm ready to start this chapter from the ground up so that me and the other devs can give you the best version of actual Guns 2 moving forward. For the first time in years, it finally feels like we're building something that's actually stable. The old system hit a wall. The remake is basically us breaking through that wall. Think about it. We never made official servers because of the optimization issues. Now it's completely possible. You got hostage rescue, you got planting C4s, you got deathmatch, you got team deathmatch, you got gun game, you got the shit I'm playing right now on the screen. I hope this game gets fucking shut down, bro. But listen, whatever you think, it's possible. We can finally focus on the fun part again. And because of that, the remake adds a lot of things that straight up were not realistic to add before. For example, your gun can now climb because of the recoil and change the offset of the bullet. Notice how the offset moved up so much that the bullets destroy the glass above. Of course, there's many things to break down from that video alone, so let's go through them one by one. M200 has a night vision scope already, so look what happens when you scope in while you have the night vision effect. As you can see, you'll be blinded since this is how light works in real life. Fun fact, night vision in real life isn't actually seeing in the dark. It's more so it grabs every tiny bit of light that exists and then it just cranks it to shit. So if you don't have the night vision effect and you're standing in light or under the sun, the night vision scope will be disabled. Speaking of scopes, you can also change the zoom levels by attacking now. This was only available for the Power Falcon and Actual Gun CSO, but is now possible for all snipers. You know, you wouldn't believe how hard this shit was to add in Actual Gun CSO compared to here. It is such a breeze. If you want, we can add the fisheye effect as well, but I'm not very sure if you'd like it, so let me know down in the comment section below. Let's equip a USB. The way to silence it has also been changed. Yes, look, I know what you're thinking. Relax. Relax, don't get your hopes up. I'm not gonna add any downsides. It's a counter-swag add-on. Come on now. Instead of using a crafting table, you just look down and hit twice. I'm planning to add an animation where the player screws on a silencer in later versions. Fuck the script! Fuck the script! Come here! Come here, you bitch! Come here! Fuck out of here! If you notice by now, the 3 guns that I've shown have their own different ammo types instead of generic magazines, and there are several reasons for that. I thought about adding individual calibers for weapons, as you can see in this image, and the reason why is so that you can share your ammo pool with other weapons of the same caliber. For an example, you have 100 bullets of 45 ACP, and you have both a USB and an infinity pistol in your inventory. If you decide to shoot the USB once and reload it, your ammo pools will look like this. The reason why I want the ammo pools of calibers to be shared is so, number one, it's easier to calculate. Number two, storing it that way is much more simple. And yes, scoreboard has fucked off from the system. Number three, I want you to use other weapons as well. To expand on my first and second points, it's so much easier that guns can now have their own magazine ammo instead of sharing it. To expand on the third point, if I'm gonna spend thousands of dollars, then realistically I should make most guns viable. Because if they're not viable, it's just a waste of money. Why? Why would you do that? Just like, are you a dickhead? Like, money doesn't grow on trees, like I said. Furthermore, I also want mobile players to enjoy shooting their guns and having an equal playing field against PC players. So in other words, they won't have aim assist per se, but they will have a 50% camera shake reduction. I just want to quickly emphasize that the camera shake value for the AK-12 is not final. Nothing you saw was final except maybe for the model and animations. In the page of actual guns too, you can see that some models are going to change and that there's new weapons coming soon as well. Not everything's finished, but I'll show you what we have right now after I address the big elephant in the room with us.
Oh my fucking god, only took you 7 fucking years! Oh my days, what the fuck?
Some add-ons have a similar feature to this already, but it's only visual and a part of the gun itself. The difference with this one, it tells you the value of your accuracy at all times. So, even if you're swimming, moving, sprinting, flying, which, by the way, why the fuck are you flying with a gun? And if you modify the stats of the gun, it will also update the crosshair size automatically. I'm sure most of you know what this crosshair does anyway, but for those that don't know, your crosshair increases in size as you shoot, and the bigger the gap of the crosshair is, the less accurate you will be. You're gonna love me for this one. You can shoot people with 100% accuracy at any range. It could be 1,000 blocks away. It does not matter. With any weapon, if your crosshair size looks like this. To give you a better example of what I'm trying to say, you will never have to deal with this again.
Spread show, you can see the potential spread of the bullet, plus if there's enough distance in between you and the target, even if your crosshair is on the head, bullets can still miss. So that's true, it does happen more often with SMGs, but even with AKs.
I think it's also a good time to mention that your bullets are now hit scan instead of projectiles. This is thanks to a system within scripts called Raycast. Tracers also happen for rifles on each third shot, and you can edit the colors or frequency of them as you can see here. Since the tracers are particles, I want to show you the upcoming particle effects for the environment. In the current state of Actual Guns 2, there's only one impact particle and it's shared between all the blocks in the game. This is obviously shit and we'll be changing that in the remake. I'll quickly show you what we have with some music in the background. I hope you like them. Some models have changed in the remake, so let's go through the preview images together. This is the AK-47. All variants got upgraded in terms of model and texture resolution, as well as getting some animation upgrades in-game. This is the AWP. All variants got upgraded in terms of model and texture resolution, as well as getting some new skins that I'm about to show. This is the first new AWP skin, and it's called Lightning Strike. This skin will make an appearance in the movie. This is the second one, and it's called Blank. This skin has the double resolution of the vanilla AWP. The purpose of it is to encourage any artistic players out there to use the skin as a base and make skins for the add-on. I plan on giving all weapons in the add-on a blank skin in the future. Next up, this is the AK-60. It got the same treatment as the AK-47 and has a better scope in-game. This is the M4A1. It got upgraded in terms of model and texture resolution, as well as getting some small animation upgrades in-game. This is the M16A1. It got upgraded in terms of model and texture resolution, as well as getting entirely new animations in-game. It's technically not an M16A1, but an M16A2 instead. The reason why it's not called that because it's not a burst rifle in actual guns too, and most guns are wrong on purpose anyways.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. Intel has told us there are at least 7.
Okay, I already see one. Give him. Okay.
They're the same picture.
There's a lot of new weapons and even armor coming in the remake, but it's better to leave that for another video. What I showed right now is not even 1/3 of the content that's coming, so expect a lot more. If you want a specific weapon to be added, you can check the description below for the spreadsheet that contains everything. You can choose the weapon of your choice you want to bring faster by donating. Here's the thing though, it will take years to add all of these weapons in the spreadsheet, but with your help, we can bring them much faster. So if you have the funds to donate, please check out the description and see if you have something that you like. I still can't believe that Actual Guns got so big that now it has a remake and a movie, like, fucking hell, man. I know the delays are shite, but I'd rather delay it and make something we're actually proud of instead of rushing it and give you a half-assed attempt. So whether you joined us in 2019, or you joined us 2 weeks ago, or in 2021, doesn't matter when you joined, I just want to thank you for supporting Actual Guns. You are the reason why I don't mind spending this much money on a Minecraft add-on, and I'll happily continue doing so as long as you support the project. We're gonna keep cooking, the remake is coming, the movie is coming, and when they finally drop, you'll understand why they took this long. Before I send you on your way, let me show you this quick sneak peek of the movie.
It's 20 seconds remaining.